Go.
Hello, my name is Khyri Thornton. I'm a senior here at the University of Southern Mississippi. I am a student athlete and I play football. Here with me is Jason Gray, the compliance person here at the University of Southern Mississippi. I have a lot of questions for him concerning my project. Jason Gray, can you tell me a little about yourself?
All right, I have been working in NCAA compliance at Division I schools for 16 years now. I'm a Southern Miss grad and I've been here for 6 years.
Okay. What are your specific interests in compliance?
Of course, I've been involved in every aspect of compliance in that amount of time, but to me my favorite is education. You know, getting the word out about rules and how things can and can't be done. So education is my favorite part of compliance.
Okay, well I have a couple questions for you. I would like your opinion on them and tell me what you think about them. My first question is, what do you think are the most common offenses by student athletes?
Nationwide, and I'll speak from a nationwide perspective, it's probably drug offenses. Drug and alcohol use, you know, anything associated with alcohol like underage drinking or DUI, and then somebody caught with possession of drugs. That's probably the top.
Yes. Okay. My second question involves, what is your perception of college athletes that get in trouble with the law?
You know, and it depends on the circumstances or the actual law that's been broken. I think for a lot, I mean, when I was in college, I knew plenty of students, regular students, who got a DUI or arrested for public intoxication or was arrested because they had some type of drugs on their person or in the car. So, you know, I think from that standpoint, you know, there's not a bad perception, it's just a regular young student perception. But if somebody is caught with maybe intent to distribute drugs or violent crimes, then those perceptions are a lot worse.
Okay. Based on my research, I found that the general population think that athletes get off easier when faced with criminal charges. What is your opinion of this?
That I can see where people think that. That probably is the thought nationally. You know, because a lot is really said when somebody gets a student athlete gets in trouble and they get maybe a light sentence or no sentence. I mean, it's out in public, everybody sees it, so everybody automatically thinks all athletes get off scot-free, even though that's not true.
Do you think that race or gender has anything to do with criminal charges?
No, I don't. You know, we've seen athletes in all races and all genders get in trouble before, so I don't think it does.
How about, do you think student athletes should face harsher punishment than non-athletes?
No, from the legal courts, no. From the university, it may be a case of somebody who is on a university scholarship. If they get in trouble, then maybe they would face some type of university penalties that a non-scholarship student might not face. You know, maybe losing the scholarship or something. So, from a legal perspective in the courts, no.
Yes, sir. When the athlete gets in trouble with the law, what effect do you think it has on the fans?
Again, I think that depends on what the problem was. Most fans can blow off small legal issues, you know, but if it's something large, you know, where it was violent or, you know, robbery or something, then most fans might, you know, all of a sudden not like that athlete or that team that much anymore. Just depends on what the offense was.
What effect does it have on the school's image or the school's program?
Yeah, that same thing. I mean, if you've got a rash of athletes who get arrested in a period of a time, a year or something, you know, several, then that's going to make the athletic department look like it doesn't have any control and it's just got a bunch of, you know, hoodlums or thugs for their athletes, which isn't the case. But you know, if there's several offenses, then you're going to have issues.
When an athlete gets in trouble, do you think the media blows out of proportion?
Yeah, I do, because every student athlete is under such a microscope. They can't do anything. You can't do anything without, if you go and you're out somewhere and a media person sees you, they're going to tweet it or put it in their blog or something. So, I mean, yeah, I think it is. It's unfair because you're under such a microscope.
Two more questions. Do you think high-profile student athletes get in trouble more or less, and why? Do you think the player with the higher status gets in more trouble than an incoming freshman if they get in trouble?
And the other one was?
Do you think high-profile students, athletes get in trouble more or less?
Yeah. High-profile student athletes may get in trouble more just because they're under such a microscope and they're looked at and scrutinized more. You know, if they're out somewhere, somebody may be more than willing to start a fight or instigate somebody who's so high-profile. You know, a lower-profile athlete, they may not even realize he's an athlete. So I think high-profile athletes do get in trouble a little more, not on their own fault. I mean, it just sometimes it comes with the territory. And the other part was, do I think high-profile kids get punished more?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, it's probably about even, because, you know, there's some that say you got to make an example of even the high-profile athlete in order to keep the whole team in check. But then there's some coaches who let the high-profile kids get away with more.
Yeah, like the coach from Oregon, Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
Michael James got in trouble for assault on his girlfriend his freshman year. He didn't get in trouble. They said he didn't get in trouble because they had a Facebook page with Michael James for Heisman. Maybe 2 months later than that, Tyler Taylor from the same school got in trouble for being drunk at a person's house naked, and they keep him off the team, dismissed him.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories kind of like that. So I think it just kind of goes back to what that coach's philosophy is going to be. If it's a coach who cares about discipline and knows he has to keep discipline on the team for everybody, then he's going to punish the high-profile kid just like, you know, the last walk-on. But there's some who, you know, like that case in Oregon, they had to protect Michael James.
It's the last question. What do you think the NCAA or schools should try to do to deter criminal acts by student athletes?
I think the best thing they could do is pour more money into educational and social programs, things that we can do to provide outreach here on campus, things to keep you guys busy and fun things to do, and, you know, educational seminars and just things that you guys would get a lot out of, that we wish we could do if we had more resources.
One more thing. Do you think that the local law enforcement around here has more problems with student athletes than regular students and outside?
No, I don't think so. I don't. In this community, speaking for Hattiesburg, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of other issues out there instead of our student athletes, and I think most of our coaches have pretty good control on making sure that their student athletes act as they should. I feel like the number one issue in legal issues with student athletes and nationally, nationwide, not just here at Southern Miss, has been drug-related offenses. And we kind of ourselves, to help out with that issue, you know, we have an on-campus student-athlete drug testing program where we randomly select athletes from every team once a month, and they get drug tested. And per our drug testing policy, if we have positive results, we send student athletes to on-campus care to seek counseling for the positive drug test, and they'll talk to a counselor there 3, 4, 5 times, however many times the counselor sees fit, and we'll seek help for that student athlete. You know, and they'll do other community outreach service projects stem from that as well. You know, and we'll retest to make sure that to see if there's a problem or anything we need to address. So we're trying to get in front of any issues with student athletes and drug use or alcohol use before issues get blown up and something maybe happens out in the community that causes the student athlete to be arrested or somebody hurt. So we try and, like I said, we try and get out in front of it and see if there's any issues and what's the best way to handle that. You know, every school in the country now has a drug testing program, and they try and use their on-campus resources to help with counseling sessions for that, or they bring in professionals from off campus to help with counseling issues. You know, we've sent student athletes in the past out to inpatient drug testing centers, you know, so they can have hands-on treatment, you know, 24 hours a day. So you just try and, you know, everybody now tries to get out in front of it to try and help student athletes before issues become, you know, much larger where they're out in the public view.
Okay. Why do you think coaches give players with that produces more leniency on drug tests? A star player may fail a drug test 7 times before they get kicked out, but a person that just plays a role on the team might fail 2 or 3 before they get kicked out. Why do you think that is?
Coaches need to win. You know, that's not the right answer. You know, that's not the way that it should be. But that's the motivating factor for the coaches is they need their best players on the field, and they, you know, if they don't have someone telling them no, you've got to do this, then you know he's got to sit. Then they'll play him if they can, even though he might have failed 1 or 2 drug tests and is supposed to be suspended for a game. You know, that's the coach's logic in that point. And I don't agree with it. It's not right because you've got to treat everybody the same. And actually, with the NCAA rules, is if you have a standard drug testing policy in place for the department, you have to follow it. You've committed an NCAA violation if you don't follow your own drug testing policy. Syracuse right now is facing NCAA allegations because of that. It was known and it's now come out that they didn't follow that program in men's basketball and football. So, you know, there's issues further than just who's playing.
Okay, well, I would like to thank you for speaking with me today.